This is DRF Race of the Day.
Hi everybody, Mike Beer here with Friday's DRF Race of the Day down at Oaklawn Park for race number 6 for the Friday Race of the Day, a little allowance optional claiming event for Arkansas bred fillies and mares. They're going to sprint 6 furlongs on the main track. Let's take a look at the field right here. 8 horses entered, led by number 4, your morning line favorite at 2-1, Miss Antioch. She's one of 4 fillies or mares in this race, exiting the Down the Dusty Road Stakes a little bit less than 2 weeks ago here over this track. That Down the Dusty Road was contested over a sloppy racetrack. Miss Antioch had the best finish of the 4 emerging from that race. She had the best finish in there. She wound up 3rd. The 3 of the other horses back in this spot finished behind her. 2 of those horses, including the co-second choices on your morning line here, the number 6 Proud Victoria, the number 8 Sakani. They are both 7-2. They are also both dropping out of that Down the Dusty Road, looking to improve and get a little bit closer to Miss Antioch. I have no problem with Miss Antioch being the morning line favorite. She sort of looks like the horse to beat here. She's still lightly raced, has a little bit of upside, and she also has some pretty good tactical speed, which could come into play here. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector before we move on to the handicapping here. They have Miss Antioch right up close to the pace, and that's where I expect her to be in all of her races so far. She's just shown, really nice tactical speed just about each and every time. That was the case in the Down the Dusty Road, where she got right up on the pace, actually made an early move in there to make that pace go around the turn, had the lead in the stretch, got a little bit tired at the end, but I thought that was maybe to be expected. They did go a little bit earlier with her in that race. Prior to that, she was off the layoff over this track in a race, sort of similar to this one, a little allowance optional claimant event. And she was much the best in there, a little bit of a step forward, winning off the layoff. Now she's 3rd time back with a little bit of class relief. She makes a lot of sense in this race. They also have the number 1 in this field, Saved by an Angel, up close to the pace. We'll see if she can get that position. It feels like she's the kind of filly who's really at her best when she can get up close to the pace. It's going to be very important for her to break well from the rail. And to try to be part of this pace. It seems like she was also in that Down the Dusty Road last time. She was off of a pretty long layoff there, showed speed, brief speed up the inside. She also had the rail that day. Never looked like she was going to be able to hold on, finished far back in that field, but she was off the layoff there. Maybe she needed the race. It was a wet track, which I guess could also offer a little bit of an excuse for Saved by an Angel. She just needs to get faster. The one time that she's run, a competitive figure in her career, that was back in her maiden win, which is now nearly 2 years ago. She just got absolutely loose on the lead that day, never faced a challenge and won easily. With a 64. Her other races just don't make her that competitive in here. We'll see if she can take a step forward. Euro Me is the 2, 6-1 on the morning line. Finished behind Miss Antioch 2 starts back in that allowance optional claiming race in January. That was off of a short layoff. I thought all in all she got a good trip that day. She was a huge price at over 50-1. She did well to get up in dead heat for second in there, but she also had a really good trip and was never a real factor. Has a race or 2 on the go back that I guess would give her a chance to get a piece in here, but to see her beating this field, it feels like maybe she's going to need to catch a break or 2 to get there first, and maybe have one of the others not show up with their best race. The 3 is Florida Bird. Florida Bird's, she's a pretty tough caller. She's 3rd off the layoff now, 2 starts so far. She's finished behind rivals that she will meet again in this spot in her first 2 starts back from the layoff, and never really made an impact in those races. She just has that profile of a horse who seems like she's better when she goes longer and she can sort of be part of the pace. When they sprint her, she just doesn't have the speed to be up close, and she tries to close into her sprint races, and it doesn't always work out well for her. Her best races are when she can be part of the pace going longer, and that's going to be hard for her to accomplish in here. We already talked about Miss Antioch. She's the horse to beat in here. Looks pretty good winning off the layoff, I thought. And then, last time in the Down the Dusty Road, it's, when you go back and just watch the replay of that race, as a matter of fact, let's watch it right now because we're going to hit on a couple of other horses as well. Miss Antioch, again, she got up close to the pace. She made an early move into this race to go make that pace go around the turn. Actually moved up and forced Proud Victoria, another horse back in this race, to go with her, put Miss Victoria away in the stretch. Had a little bit of a lead there, couldn't hold off the closers, but all in all, Miss Antioch, I thought, did well to be 3rd in that race. Basically, she's run well in each of her last 4 starts. Her final 2 starts last year at Remington, she ran well. Her first 2 starts so far this year, she's run well. She's got tactical speed. There's plenty of things to like about Miss Antioch in here. She's the horse to beat. Miss Bumblebee's the 5, big price on the line. Maiden win came last summer at Louisiana Downs, sprinting on the grass. Her only start since then. She finished far back in a field of 17-5 claimers. at Louisiana Downs in the mud. She does not look competitive at all on paper. She does have a little bit of speed, it seems. Proud Victoria, one of the horses dropping out of the Down the Dusty Road. This is an interesting horse in here. Obviously did not run well in the Down the Dusty Road. She did show somewhat surprising speed there, however, off the layoff, because last year in her 4 starts, she was not a speed horse at all. They like to take her back and sort of try to make a run in the stretch. Off the layoff, they got a little aggressive with her. They put her up close to the pace. She tried to go with Miss Antioch around the turn there. She just got tired. She was no match in there. She got tired. It was also a sloppy track, which could offer an excuse for her. Really gave that thing up in the final 1/8 of a mile. Just sort of looked like a filly who probably needed the race. Her races early on last year anyway, down here at Oaklawn Park, they ran her 3 times, two of them in stakes races. Thought she ran well in all those races. So if she just needed that race off the layoff, maybe she gets a chance to get over a fast track here, second time back. This is a filly who could easily improve enough and take a big enough step forward in here to be a major factor in this race. And I think she's very interesting here. Betty Ann is the 7. She's a pretty tough call for me. She actually has more than one race that would make her pretty tough in here. She came back off of a short layoff as well. Down here back in Kenny Smith's barn. She did not run well off of that layoff last time. That was a wet track. It's hard to give her the wet track excuse for that race when you go back and look at some of the other races that she's run on wet tracks in the past, and she ran just fine. As a matter of fact, the only 2 other wet track races are 2 of the best races she's ever run. So I don't know if you want to give her the wet track excuse necessarily. The horse that won that race did come back and win the Down the Dusty Road, so she was in a good field last time. She's just very inconsistent and very hard to trust in a race like this. She's run, again, more than one race that would make her really competitive in here, and she actually has good tactical speed as well. She's the kind of horse who, even though 2 of her 3 career wins since she broke her maiden first time out, the only 2 times she's won since then have been in $16,000 claiming races, but she's been competitive with better horses as well. I don't know. I would like to this is a race that lacks, in my opinion, appealing long shots. She feels like the kind of horse who is a little bit interesting at a price. And if she does indeed go off at a big price, I'd be willing to use her a little bit and try to get her in there somewhere. The 8 is Sakani. She's going to take money in this race for powerful connections here. Brad Cox, Florent Giroux has the mount. She's got a great post on the outside. She has tactical speed. Again, she was in the Down the Dusty Road. They rated her early to take her back off the pace. She moved up actually through the turn, got right in behind the leaders around the turn of that race like she was really going to run. And then she just didn't really fire through the stretch. A little bit of a disappointing performance. That was her first time on a wet track, so maybe she didn't like that. She faced a better field than this one off of the layoff. That was a pretty long layoff, too, back in January. So there's ways to look at her and just feel like she's going to take a pretty big step forward in here. She won the Rainbow Miss over this track last year and, ran pretty well that day with a 71 buyer. She's the kind of field who makes a lot of sense in here. I'm going to expect her to take a ton of money in this race and probably be pretty close in price along with Miss Antioch come post time of this race. That's the only thing that I didn't really like about Sakani, because I'm not sure that she has that much of an edge on this field. And to take a short price on her, I probably wouldn't want to do. I wouldn't be surprised. Won't be surprised when she runs well and maybe even wins this race. But I didn't take her on top. She's not the kind of horse that I wanted a short price. And the horse that I wanted to have, I'll put the picks up there now. I wanted Proud Victoria. I wanted the 6 on top in this race. I just feel like if anybody out of that Down the Dusty Road is going to rebound and run a much better race in here, I think it's Proud Victoria. She has all the excuses lined up. The wet track, the really long layoff, the showing speed there for the first time, and it's not really her best running style. Maybe Ron Moquette was just giving her a race there, trying to leg her up for her second start off the layoff. We'll see if she can do better. She will have to do better to beat a couple of the horses that finished ahead of her last time, but that's where I'm going in Friday's race of the day. I went 6, 4, 8, and 7 in Friday's race of the day, the 6th at Oaklawn. Good luck.